everybody, Sadie Smith here. I wish to address a question I had from a friend. Very good question. I was like, girl, it was pretty spicy. So I'm just gonna ask, she asked me, how do I handle the reader experience of my dark tropes? I have trigger warnings sprinkled throughout my book. How do I not ruin the reader experience as they are reading? Yes, you have a disclaimer page telling people, hey, there's some teas in here that may not be your cup of tea. But on the page itself, when they are reading, how do you address that? How as an author do you address those? And I was like, that is a great question. So if you're new to writing, this might be a great opportunity for you to learn something. If you're an author previously and you run across my video like, oh, I did that, or oh, I did something different for my reader experience for these tropes, you are welcome to write into the comments. Or in particular, if you're a reader, how is your reader experience when you see these type of things happen? Because I do write dark, and some content is not it for everybody. Content warning. So yes, I do have a note to reader. I will have a page on my website going full detail of each section. The page, the character, the page numbers, the chapter, like the whole thing, what's going on, so you can get a gist before you continue reading. So I'm very mindful and demure when it comes to my reader's experience. I'm not gonna blast in my chapter heading, warning, warning, content, this is what's happening. I feel like that's very abrupt. I am not Deadpool. I do not break the fourth wall. I cannot. That's not my style. That's not even my gift. That's Deadpool's gift. So I'm not gonna put in my chapter heading, caution, this will happen in this book, in this chapter. That doesn't work for me because, one, each of my chapters are, I call them sections because they have sub-chapters within them, aka point of views. So I can have 1 to 5 characters in a chapter. And when I blast out trigger warning, the reader, you don't know whose character gonna be traumatized that chapter. And sometimes it's just one character. Sometimes it's everybody. Sometimes it's a handful. Sometimes it's different trigger warnings going on at the same time. That everything's, oh, it's on fire. The world's on fire. Boom, boom, boom. We gotta go. It doesn't work for me. So what I found is illustrations. They are little illustrations that are inserted throughout the book. And there's an illustration in front of the content. Okay, we're getting very spicy here now. What's warning? We're gonna get something traumatized and spicy. And then you can skim through that content down to another illustration telling you this section has ended. We're now coming out of the traumatized zone. We're now coming back into the green, the safe zone. And just a little mark indication there for you. But so let me show you what that means on the page. So let me flip the camera around. Alrighty, so here is my disclaimer page in the book right now. Subject to change, obviously, because I'm in draft. But here's the note to reader content warning. Here's all the content warning that I have. This explains my illustrations here. So this is the top one, here's the bottom one. So how does that affect these illustrations help you as a reader in your reader experience when you are dealing with a character who is being traumatized, like in chapter 3. Expectations. Oh, expectations were made. So this character is my main male character, Ayaz. He ended chapter 2, so you won't see his name here. If it was if he had started the chapter, say Lily ended chapter 2, then he would have his name right there, Ayaz. So I'm very mindful of that. Maybe I'll show you a video on how I did that. But he is in a traumatized state right now. He's going through some stuff, and it's just building and building. The tension is building, and then he's about to pop. So here is the illustration. So you're reading. Oh, pretty illustration of some dragon-like creatures. Oh, this is getting spicy. I remember this in the content warning that this, moving forward, could not be my cup of tea. So you're welcome to go to the website. Go to, okay, chapter 3, expectation, Ayaz. Oh, okay, this is what's happening. So and so. So you can either move forward and read, or you can skip it all the way down to this illustration right here. And this tells you this traumatized section is over with. We are moving into a more safer zone now. If you're one that needs to skip this part, then you see this and like, okay, it's over. I can continue reading without any fear of what's going on. Also, as someone who enjoys, like me, I like the traumatized, spicy parts. I feel like that builds the most character. I get excited when I see those illustrations. I'm like, all right, here we go. Let's put our glasses on, buckle down. Let's go through this experience together. So that is how I handle my dark content in my book. So that's why I can't have it in the beginning of my chapter saying, hey, contact Warren because here's the example. Here's a point of view change right here. I'm moving into another character. Now this section for him in chapter 3, his expectations, not traumatized at all. He is not traumatized. He's actually pretty chill. He's doing his thing. He's doing his character business. He's not traumatized. So when I add the traumatized at the beginning of the chapter, at the chapter heading, it doesn't make sense for my book to have that red flag right there. Maybe in yours it works out because you're one point of view, or maybe you're two and it works out, but for me it doesn't. So that's how I handle my dark tropes in my book. If you're a new author and you're dealing with something very similar with my situation when I'm writing my book of multiple characters with multiple traumas, this might be actually pretty decent for you. And you can take it. You can take my idea. This is not my idea, actually. I'm not the original person. I took it from someone else. And then so on and so on. Or you're one of those people who red flag content. Maybe you like, oh, put in the character's name. And I'm like, but then that means more words that I have to pay to be printed as well. So I'm one of those I'm one of those writers who write very thick books too. So words matter in my realm of printing. But if you liked it, if you enjoy that as a reader experience personally, or you're an author and you're like, yeah, I like that, please let me know. I love comments. I love addressing them. I love answering questions. I know I'm taking forever at editing this book. I know. I'm stressed about it too because I want it on the shelf by now. But at the same time, I want to be very mindful and demure with my readers. I'm going to be as professional as I can in my book. And I will make sure that when I do publish, it is a very solid, interesting book that you will love to read, and not a book that is very abrupt and you feel like you're lost and you don't know what's happening and then you get triggered. So I'm very mindful of that as I'm going through my book. But I am halfway through part 2. Act number 2 is what we call it in the book. And after that, it's Act 3. Act 3 should be very quick. Don't expect much to happen there because that's when everything's wrapping up. So hopefully this year I can finally say I'm done writing the draft for this beast of 1,200 pages, over 200k word monster of a book. And I'm really excited to hopefully next coming year, because 2 years, probably in 2 years, because publishing house takes a minute to do their thing. Perfectly understandable. Gotta do what they gotta do, read, edit. I got illustrations now. I have a list. So yeah, let me know. I know it's a long video. I know I did a little rant there. I'm sorry. I love talking about my book. I love it. It's my thing. It's my passion. I can't wait to see it in Barnes & Noble. I want to walk in my local Barnes and be like, that's my book. And I would try and sign it and sneak out. Because you know how they are about us doing that. But yeah. So, yeah. Let me know. Bye.